Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. The sinister act of family members orchestrating the murder of other family members is nothing new. In fact, outside of the indiscretion of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, the first major crime committed after creation was Cain killing his brother Abel, as was documented in the book of Genesis in the Bible. Here in Jamaica, if one should go through the archives of the various media houses, one would definitely find scores of stories about family members murdering other family members, primarily over issues such as dead left properties. There have been even incidents such as one brother killing another brother because he wore his shoes without first asking permission. In fact, the cases are becoming increasingly gruesome and worrisome. In June 2022, we witnessed one of the most brutish incidents ever seen in Jamaica, when 23-year-old Roshan Barnett slaughtered his cousin, 48-year-old Kemisha Wright, and her 4 children at their Cocoa Peace home in Clarendon, all because he claimed that she had disrespected him. The truth is, Bennett was considered to be a troublemaker, and against the advice of other family members, Wright took him into her home with her children, hoping that their stable environment would help him to settle down. Today, Wright and her children, Kimana Smith 15, Sharalee Smith 12, Rajela Smith 5, and 23-month-old Kishan Henry Jr. are all dead, victims of the brutality of Barnett. The fact that Barnett pleaded guilty in the circuit court in Kingston and has been sentenced to 5 concurrent life sentences, which will see him serving 61 years and 8 months before being eligible for parole. The nation remains angry by what he did, and some people are of the view that he should have been hanged, albeit no hanging has taken place in Jamaica for several years. However, in terms of sheer brutality and callousness, few cases could beat that of 26-year-old Tamara Geddes, who was brutally murdered before her 10-year-old daughter in a hit which was arranged by her older sister and 2 of her nieces in June 2020 at the family home in Refuge Trelawny. In this edition of Lest You Forget, I will be revisiting that incident from a series of stories that were published in the Gleaner, which covered the incident extensively from start to finish. The problem between the sisters first came to public attention on May 10, 2020, when Nadine Geddes, the 41-year-old sister of Tamara Geddes, reported to the police that her sister had damaged her water tank. It is unclear if there were any other incidents after that, but on the night of June 19, 2020, at about 8:30, the police got a call that gunshots were being fired at the Geddes family home. When the police rushed to the home, they found Tamara Geddes in her bedroom suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. She was rushed to the Falmouth Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. The other family members who were at home claimed that a gunman had entered Tamara's room and shot and killed her. During their investigations, police found incriminating evidence which suggested that Nadine Geddes and her 2 daughters had intimate knowledge of the killing. They were promptly arrested and charged. During further interrogation, it was discovered that Nadine Geddes had paid $230,000 to a hitman to murder her sister. Based on information provided to the police by the deceased woman's sister and her 2 daughters, 4 persons from St. James were arrested and charged in connection with the murder. 55-year-old Owen Irving and 32-year-old Tashana Young were said to be the persons who recruited the hitman. 23-year-old Roxanne Nat was said to be the man who transported the hitman, while 24-year-old Brian Shelley was identified as the hitman. In court, where Nadine Geddes and her daughters pleaded guilty to their involvement in the planning of the murder, it was revealed that when Shelley barged into Tamara Geddes' room, He robbed her of $16,000 and 2 cellular phones and then demanded sex. When that request was not met, he reportedly shot her multiple times in front of her 10-year-old daughter, who was also in the room. At the conclusion of the trial in the Trelawny Circuit Court, Nadine Geddes, who pleaded guilty, was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Her daughters, Shanice Roddock, 21, and a minor, who cooperated with the investigators and provided vital information, were also found guilty but were sentenced to 3 years probation. Nat was freed because there was not enough evidence to tie him to the crime. Irvin, who pleaded guilty to conspiring to murder, was sent to prison for 20 years. Tashana Young was sent to prison for 5 years for her role in the incident, while Shelley, the triggerman, was sent away for life. In looking back at that incident, it's still very hard to decipher why Nadine Geddes would have ordered a hit on her younger sister, as her only explanation was that we can't get along and me tired of her. In looking back at that incident, it was as heart-rending as it was unforgettable. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.